Hello everyone, my name is Jomar Rodriguez, and this video is going to be a little bit different because I've been hearing a lot of testimonies recently, and I've also been seeing a lot of testimonies like on social media and stuff like that, and it's honestly inspired me to share mine. Honestly, whenever we share our testimonies, we help others grow in faith. And when I hear testimonies, it helps me grow my faith with God as well. And I hope that this testimony can be inspiration, or it can bring hope to someone who needs it in the moment, someone who's having struggles trusting in God's plan. Sometimes we don't understand what God's doing in our life, but later we're going to understand it. So with my testimony, it began when I was around 14, 15 years old. I was in the bathroom. I was putting my contacts in, and I remember looking out of my left eye and realizing that there was a blind spot in my left eye. Like, I could see the peripheral vision was perfectly fine, but then in the central vision, it was really blurry, and I didn't understand why. But in the moment, I didn't really take much attention to it because I was a 14-year-old kid, I was worried about playing Fortnite and watching TikTok, But as days went by, I feel like it started getting worse, and I started to get worried about it. And that's when I brought it up to my mom. And she got really worried when she heard about it. And we started looking out for answers. We started researching, and we started seeing optometrists to see what was going on with my eye. And I remember that the first optometrist we saw was in Temple, Texas. It was at a Baylor hospital. And I remember we walked into the room and we did the eye test. And whenever we did the eye test, I remember that my right eye, I saw 20/20 out of it. But my left eye, it was like 90/20, so it was pretty bad. I could barely see the top lines. And you know that those letters are big, but I could barely see them out of my left eye. And I got really worried because I didn't want to lose my vision, I was a 14-year-old kid who was playing baseball at the time. I was playing travel baseball. And I had dreams of playing at the next level. So for a 14-year-old to hear that, it's truly devastating, So we started asking the doctor if there were any cures, if there were any measures we could take in order to improve my vision. And they told us that no, that it was only going to get worse, and that there was no possible way to improve what I had in my left eye. And that really heartbroke me, I was really frustrated at the moment too, because I feel like God had let me down in the moment, but obviously that's not true. So after that, we went to another optometrist because, thank God for my mom, she wasn't conformed with the first answer that she got, so she looked for other opinions. And that's when we found an optometrist in Austin, Texas. So we went over there and we did the eye test again, same thing, 90/20 in my left eye or 20/20 in my right eye. And they dilated my eyes, they took pictures of my eyes, and they did a bunch of studies to find out what was truly happening in my eyes. And I really appreciate them because they really went into detail into explaining, and they really went into detail trying to find what was in my eye. And I could truly see the dedication that these people had with their jobs. So what they found was that I had a case of macular degeneration in my left eye. And it's basically where there's like fluid in between, I think it's the retina and something else. There's just some sort of fluid in my eye that's causing my central vision to become blurred. And once we understood what was happening, we asked if there were any cures or anything we could do to improve my vision. And they told us that we could start injections in my left eye. And whenever I heard that, I got really scared. I got really frightened because I was a 14-year-old kid. I could barely stand an injection, like the flu shots. I could barely stand the flu shots. And you're telling me that I'm going to get an injection in my eye now? Like, come on, bro. That was really, really scary at the time. But we decided to go to pursue them. And I remember, I think it was around a month after, I was scheduled for my first eye injection. And I went into that place so scared. But the doctor truly comforted me, and he made me feel comfortable. It's the same thing. Whatever. And I remember after the injection, I felt perfectly fine. It didn't hurt as much as I thought it was going to hurt. And I thank God for that, because an injection in your eye is not easy, y'all. But the doctor made it seem like it was nothing, and he gave me a lot of hope. And he gave me a lot of confidence going into the injection. So thank you for Dr. Martinez. So after a couple of injections, I was starting to lose hope, though, because I didn't see an improvement in my eyesight. I felt like it was only getting worse. But I think it was 6 to 8 months after the first injection, my eyesight started getting better. Every single time before the injection, we would do an eye test. And during those first 6 months, it was still 90 to 20 in my in my left eye. But that one injection, I remember, I saw 70 out of 20. And that gave me hope, because I saw that my eyesight was getting better. And that gave me a lot of hope. From that point on, I feel like once I received that hope and once I was trusting in God, I feel like from that point on, God just took control of the situation. Well, he always had control of the situation, but I feel like he really worked in my life after that, because I started trusting in him and I started believing that he was going to do something for his purpose. So around, it was around like a year and a half. A year and a half of injections went by. It was slowly going down. I remember it went from 70 to 20 to 60 to 20 to 50-20 in my left eye. And I was really seeing the hand of God working in my life. And I didn't really realize how big of a miracle this was, that my eyesight was improving, until one day I went to, it wasn't an optometrist, it was just a normal eye test to get my contacts and my glasses, the prescriptions. So I remember they were looking at my eyes, and they saw like a big scar in the middle of my left eye. She saw a big scar, and she was honestly in awe by the way that I was still seeing in my left eye, because someone with that big of a scar in the middle of their eye would usually lose their whole vision. But by the grace of God and by God's glory, the scar in my eye doesn't mean anything, because I still have vision in my left eye. There may be a fat scar in the middle of my left eye, and I may have macular degeneration, but by the grace of God, that same appointment, I saw 30/20 out of my left eye, almost 20/20 vision. And I just thank God, honestly, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have found Dr. Martinez. If it wasn't for him, my mom wouldn't have gone out to find second opinions on what I had in my left eye. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to withheld all of these injections that went into my eye. I would have lost hope and I would have stopped getting the injections, but by the grace of God, he gave me hope, and he made me understand that I just need to trust in him. We just need to trust in him, because at the moment, my 14-year-old self, I didn't understand why God was making me go through this, but now I understand that it was a test. It was a test to see how much I was truly relying on God. And I thank him until this day that he restored my vision completely. He restored my vision completely, and I know that he's going to keep on working in my eyesight, and we're going to get to that 20/20 soon. We're going to get to that 20/20 vision sooner than we know it. And I thank God, I truly do. So that was my short, quick testimony. I appreciate you for watching, and I hope that this video can be hope, and it can be informative to anybody who's feeling down, who's feeling like they can't trust in God. I'm telling you, we might not understand the situation that God's putting us in the moment, but sooner or later we're going to understand God's purpose and why he does certain things. And whenever we have these testimonies, we need to share them to people, because there's people that are hopeless. There's people that don't understand why God's making them go through a certain situation. And whenever they hear these type of testimonies, whenever they see these type of miracles, they begin to grow their faith. And that's what God wants us to do. He wants us to bring as many people to his kingdom as we possibly can. And it starts by sharing our testimonies. It starts by saying God loves you to random people. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you to God, because I wouldn't be here without him. I wouldn't be able to have vision in my left eye if it wasn't for him. So thank you for watching this video. Thank you to God. And I hope that going into this new year, y'all can find comfort, and y'all can find inspiration, and y'all can take refuge in God, because he's the only one who does these type of things. He's the only one who does these type of miracles. So thank y'all for watching, and I pray that each and every one of y'all grows y'all's faith, and I hope that each and every one of y'all can seek comfort in God, because that's where true humility, true happiness is, in God. Thank y'all for watching.